before we start for YouTube. Oh my god, I didn't do my YouTube. Fuck. Hi everybody, welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I'll be making Korean barbecue. We'll be marinating some Korean short ribs, making some instant kimchi and some green onion salad with all the trimmings and side dishes of a normal, typical Korean barbecue. I'm really excited to cook with everyone, sit down, have a chit chat. And if you like my content and you want to see more videos, make sure you smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, ring the bell notification, all those wonderful things. And let's jump right into the video. Gibble, edit that. I'm not doing it again. The first thing we're gonna do is we're probably gonna marinate the meat first because that's gonna take the longest. You don't have to marinate it for too long. Obviously for meat, the longer you marinate it, the yummier it will be. But for Korean short ribs, especially for Korean barbecue, the meat is cut quite thin already. So it doesn't take too much time to penetrate. And for the marinade for today's purpose, it's mostly just for flavor and less for like tenderization and stuff like that because the cut should be quite tender already. So we're gonna do the short ribs first. For marinade, it's actually very simple. There is no recipe. I'm just kind of making it up on the fly. Whatever flavor you like, I'm just gonna throw it in there. We're gonna do the garlic first. It's easier to just scoop it up into one. What the hell happened? A knife is sharp. So when you're washing a knife or when you're just handling a knife regularly, normally when I'm washing, I wash away from the blade. So I don't wash into the blade, obviously, because that's where you can accidentally nick yourself. So I always start from the blunt edge and then wash downwards when I'm using soap. And I just like to use my 2 fingers and kind of pinch the blade a little bit to kind of clean whatever like residue that's stuck on there. Even the sharpest knives can't hurt you if you know how to handle it. So this is the short ribs that I'll be marinating. Whether you're doing Korean barbecue, whatever cooking, I always like reiterate this when you're cooking. Always be conscious of what touched raw meat and what isn't. Be aware if my fingers touched raw meat or not, especially with Korean barbecue where you're mixing cooked meat with raw vegetables. You don't want to accidentally touch raw meat. I don't have like a really specific recipe for this short rib marinade. It's just going to be whatever I feel like, and I'm feeling like it's going to be soy sauce. Eyeball it. And eyeballing also takes a bit of practice. It doesn't always come that easy right away. I would always say use less if you're not sure and don't use more. I'd rather the meat not be salty enough, and then you can always add salt later on, than for you to have it too salty and then you can't really do much about it anymore. This is salt. We don't need too much salt. I had the soy sauce already. I'm gonna add a little bit of sugar just to balance out the saltiness a little bit. Just a little bit of sugar. And then pepper. I'm gonna be squeezing it in between my hands just a tiny bit, kind of to loosen up the fibers a little. A little bit of a meat massage, if you will. With love and care. However you guys like to massage your meat, that's between you and the bedroom, but use that strength, but a little less, okay? A little less. I'm gonna lay it down nicely. We're gonna be doing the instant kimchi now. So instant kimchi is different from regular kimchi. Regular kimchi takes like days, weeks, months to ferment. The longer you ferment it, the better it will taste, and also very healthy for your gut. But obviously I don't have the time to be making kimchi that takes like months to make. So I'm gonna be doing an instant variety where the ingredients are a little different. For traditional kimchi, it's more gochugaru. I think there's like daikon, green onion, shrimp paste, a bunch of other like ingredients that you kind of mix together, and then you shove it in between the layers of the napa cabbage, and then you kind of wrap it up together, and then I'll just ferment like a big hunk of it in the fermenting box. Instant kimchi is actually really easy. You just grab your napa cabbage. This one is not a big one. We're gonna be cutting the cabbage halfwise and then in quarters. Grab your knife, line it up halfway through, cut all the way through, like this, and then just rip it. And then we're gonna do one more cut. Again, cut it all the way through, and then again, rip it, cut it, rip it. But you can see how like the butt is still keeping all the leaves together. We're just gonna cut that off. So now all the leaves are now separate. Look at my bowl, guys. This is my 25th anniversary Pokemon celebration, limited edition. I don't know if it's limited edition. So into the bowl, we're actually gonna be doing a little bit of preparatory work first. 2 cups cold water. It looks like a lot, but you'll need the extra volume to kind of cover up all your lettuce. So 1/3 cup salt. And then you're just gonna mix it until the salt almost completely dissolves into the water. We wanna make a very salty water mixture. We don't have to cut it like super small or anything like that. We're gonna have our bowl of water. I personally prefer it if it was a little bit more bite-sized, especially for Korean barbecue. I wanna be picking up 1 piece of kimchi that's perfect for 1 lettuce wrap. For these kinds, where they're smaller, I'm actually just gonna use my knife and just cut it in half like that. If you're not comfortable doing like this, totally fine. Just like do it on a cutting board like in the traditional way. And for the thicker ones, I'm just gonna cut it all the way through to the bottom. So that's a nice long strip, and then I'm gonna start slashing it again. So I put everything in the salt water already, and I'm just going to be lightly kind of tossing it a little bit so that every little bit of lettuce has a chance to kind of come in contact with the salt water. Why I'm doing this is to infuse some salty flavor into the cabbage and also to draw out some of the moisture from the cabbage to make it more soft and pliable. Gently massaging, okay guys? Don't be as rough as you were with your meat. You want to be a little bit more gentle with your veggies. I'm gonna put this to the side. This has to sit in the salt water by itself for like 30 minutes. Green onion salad. I actually really love green onion salad, so I have a big bunch of it. I already washed these, I already trimmed these. All the black bits and all the dirty bits, I already washed them all. So make sure you wash your veggies nice and clean. I'm gonna cut the butt ends off. If you guys are aware of what it looks like, it's not actually chopped green onions. It's long slivers of green onion. If you have like a green onion slicer or whatever, and then basically you just have your green onion and then you kind of press down into the green onion and then you kind of pull it this way and then you can have nice like thin tendrils of green onion. But I don't have that, so I'm just gonna do it the traditional way. I'm just gonna cut it in half so it's like more easier to manage. Green onion salad, it's nice long tendrils, so instead of cutting it the regular way, which is perpendicular, I'm gonna cut it parallel to the length of the green onions. This will take a little bit of time because obviously there's less surface area for you to go on, and this is also when a really sharp knife will be helpful as well, because when you're cutting it this way, it can slip and slide. So if you have a really dull knife, you're gonna have a really bad time. So just take your time with it and then just try to cut it as thinly as you can lengthwise. Do not cut like this, guys. Bend your fingers a little bit so that at least the finger is not sticking outwards. It's kind of like this. So when you're cutting, it'll touch the first knuckle instead of the actual fingertip. I usually like to just go through it once first, and then wherever it's big and stuff like that, I'll just go back to it again and try it out again. So you can see here, it's not perfect yet. I'm probably gonna go back once or twice again, but you can kind of see how it's starting to kind of be a little bit more like skinny and noodly. I'm just gonna go over it like one more time or two more times. That's fine. And then we're gonna put it in here. If you want it just a little bit more bite, put in a little bit of the white parts of the green onion. I'm not gonna put too many though. I'm probably just gonna put like one or two. The white parts is where there's most flavor, but it's also where it's most spicy. Okay, put it in there. Seasoning for this, 2 tablespoons apple cider vinegar, and then sugar. That's 2 tablespoons, but I don't think it needs that much. Half a tablespoon. And then gochugaru. I prefer things spicy, so I'm gonna put in the 1 or 2 tablespoons that they recommend, and sesame seeds. These are already pre-toasted sesame seeds. Make sure you're using toasted sesame seeds and not raw ones. All you have to do is mix. The bowl's not that pretty, but my green onion salad is done. I'm gonna chop the raw garlic for the side dish. Nothing too crazy, just a regular cut. So this is the thickness that I have. It's not even by any means, but it'll be good for Korean barbecue. Now we're gonna move on to the kimchi. So you can see how it's really wilted down by now. So I'm gonna actually drain this. We don't want to keep the salt water. We only want to keep the softened cabbage now. I drained, I rinsed, and then I drained again. And then I'm gonna do more garlic. What is kimchi without more garlic? Look how tiny it is. Oh, it's so cute. Oh, that's you, Chad. You're so small and tiny. And then, and I'm gonna be cutting it into little pieces again, as small as you can. So here's the garlic that I have, nothing too wild. So garlic in, and then we are going to do green onion. This time for the green onion, because it's going to the kimchi, it doesn't have to be the long parallel lines. It's gonna be just roughly chopped. Okay, rough chop again, nothing too fancy. And then 2 tablespoons gochugaru. I feel like the salt was salty enough, so I'm not gonna go too crazy on the fish sauce. I'm probably gonna do half a tablespoon first. I can always add it in later. So this is what I've learned to be the secret ingredient for instant kimchi. To add a little bit of sweetness and also tartness to your kimchi without adding just plain sugar. Apricot jam is actually a really good substitute for getting that flavor out. 1 tablespoon apricot jam, 1 tablespoon. And then sesame seeds. Again, toasted sesame seeds. I think there was a measurement for it, but I mean, who the fuck cares? It's sesame seeds. Again, I'm massaging the cabbage a little bit. I'm crushing it with my hands, just a little bit. Same amount of pressure as if you would be your meat, okay? This is a nice healthy bowl of cabbage. Because it's not meant to be regular fermented kimchi, this is still instant kimchi. You can keep it in the fridge for up to about a week or so, but no more than like a month, because then it's gonna start spoiling. Okay, I'm gonna set this aside. This is gonna be my extra kimchi. And then, what am I missing now? Oh, I have to cut the mushrooms. Okay, this is a king oyster mushroom, I think it's called. Cut off the butt ends, and then we're just gonna slice it into thin slices, so that's nice for grilling. Thickness, I think it just depends on you. I did what is this? 1 centimeter?
That's quite big.
And then I'm gonna put it back on the plate because these are gonna be for pictures later. You know what? I don't think I'll cut this one. This one might be too much. Oh, and by the way, I already prepared the lettuce wraps. It's just literally lettuce. I like to personally eat the leafy parts, so I kept the leafy greens and I saved the butts for like stir fries or whatever. We have kimchi, we have mushroom, we have pork, short ribs that are marinating, green onion salad, raw garlic, extra kimchi. We have ssamjang, of course. Always can't forget the ssamjang. I think that's it. Okay, ssamjang is really important for Korean barbecue. You can make it yourself, but because it's so accessible in the grocery stores where I live, I just bought it. But it's a very common dip that you would use for vegetables in Korean barbecue. It's nice and savory. It's umami. It's a little spicy. It goes really, really well with grilled meat. Rice. So these are my pickles. I've made these before, but I usually cut them into cubes when I was doing the Korean fried chicken episode. But obviously for Korean barbecue, it's better if they're like thinly sliced so you can wrap them easier. Making daikon pickles is actually very, very easy. It's just basically for every pound of daikon, it's 1/3 cup white vinegar, 1/3 cup sugar, a pinch of salt, a little splash of water. That's it. And then you just mix it and let it sit in your fridge for at least 1 to 2 days before it's like more yummy to eat. This has been sitting in my fridge for a week already, so it should be very, very good already. This is as thick as I got it. It's not super thin, it's not super thick. It just gives it some time for the pickling liquid to seep through. Ooh. Can you guys hear that? I'm gonna get one lettuce ready, so I'm ready to receive my pork. What I like to do anyways is I like to grab a little bit of rice. I'm gonna grab a little bit of the ssamjang, and then I'm gonna grab a piece of daikon, a piece of kimchi, a little bit of the green onion, not too much, just a little bit. I'm gonna grab a smaller piece just because my lettuce isn't that big. I'm just gonna wrap it in my veggie wrap. Chat, who's ready for the first bite? It's so good. Oh my god. And there you have it. And that's how we can easily prepare a Korean barbecue at home. If you guys try it, make sure to leave a comment down below. I would love to know how it turned out. It's a great meal to share with friends and family and just to gather around and have a chit chat. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you want to see more, make sure you know what to do. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!